feel like I should be giving my talk, walking the runway. Good evening, everyone. As Tim said, my name is Annie Parker, and I've conquered cancer 3 times. I am a BRCA1 gene mutation carrier, a daughter, a sister, a wife, and I'm a mother. As I look around this room, I see so much strength and so much solidarity. People who are unapologetically fierce, compassionate, and committed to their health. Many are patients, some are caregivers, and others are the important partners of the OCC, who are working tirelessly alongside this incredible organization to eradicate ovarian cancer, or at the very least, to find ways to detect it at a very early stage. When I was growing up, words like oncology, oncology nurse, geneticists, genetic counselors, chemotherapy, or even radiation was never spoken around our dining room table. Why? Because back then, truly, cancer was a closet disease. On September 17, 1965, my world, as I knew it, began to unravel. And although it would take many years, I was going to learn how my family was going to be torn apart by an unpreventable destiny. It was on that day that the word cancer never left my vocabulary and never left my home. It was on that day that I lost the most important person in my life. I lost my mom. There's never a good time to lose anyone, but there is certainly a bad time to lose your mother, and that's when you're a girl of 14. We were all devastated by my mother's death, but rather than lean on each other for support, we became a very splintered family. Everyone did what they could do to move through the anguish, but what they did not do was talk. In 1976, my sister Joan was diagnosed with breast cancer. This time, no secrets. I had a front row seat, but I could barely watch. 2 years later, before her 39th birthday, my sister passed away from ovarian cancer, robbing me of my best friend. Throughout these turbulent years, I felt the weight of a possible diagnosis. I became obsessed that I too would get cancer, that I too would be next, and I was. In 1980, at the age of 29, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and starkly reminded of my family's fate again in 1987 when I was informed that I had stage 3 ovarian cancer. This time, cancer caught me off guard and brought me to my knees. It stood for a reminder that cancer was my life. But through it all, I held firm to the notion that this couldn't be just bad luck, that it was a family curse. Then something happened to give me focus and the hope that I desperately needed. I was among a small group of Canadians who was asked to be tested to determine if there was a relationship between my family bloodline and the newly discovered gene mutation known as the BRCA1 and BRCA2 mutation. It didn't come as a surprise to me that I was a carrier. Now this is where a new chapter of my life began, and it was beautifully documented in the film Decoding Annie Parker. The less Hollywood version of the story you will find in my book, Annie Parker Decoded. A story, a journey, a testimony to a woman's strength, a strength which every one of us in this room has. I want to leave you with this message. Listen to your gut. Ask questions, be curious, and try not to be afraid. All these things are empowering. Too often we think not knowing is better than facing the nightmare of the reality we've conjured up in our minds. This couldn't be further from the truth, because really what we need to know is that early detection is the key. Know yourself, love yourself, and keep your lady balls happy and healthy. Thank you so much for the Ovarian Cancer Canada for being an encourager for so many here tonight. I am truly honored to be speaking with you. Thank you. I now have the great honor to introduce Honorary Chair for the Lady Ball, Heather Heaps. After a long, successful business career full of overcoming challenges, Heather faced her biggest one yet. She was diagnosed with third-stage ovarian cancer. After 2 years of persistent symptoms that went undiagnosed by her healthcare team, Heather landed in the emergency department where the diagnosis was later confirmed and she was treated. A few years later, Heather faced a reoccurrence. She started on a phase 3 clinical trial for ovarian cancer patients who have the BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene mutation. Some of you may remember Heather's story from last year, and the Lady Ball Committee has invited her here again tonight to share part 2 of her journey with you. Please welcome Heather to the stage.
Well, I have the privilege of thanking Annie Parker. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate the opportunity to hear about your determination to discover the hereditary dimension of the breast and ovarian cancer in your family. We know now how important genetic testing is, as it significantly affects treatment decisions and outcomes.